Hey Tigers, we are talking about page 26 of your notes. We're going over populations and samples. All right guys, so our essential question today is how can you use a sample to gain information about a population? Okay, so you guys will notice I've already done a lot of the highlighting for our vocab terms today, so we're just going to go through those to start. First one we have is population. A population is the entire group of objects or individuals considered for a survey. Okay, that's the whole entire group. A sample is a part of the population. A random sample is a sample in which each individual object or object in the entire population has an equal chance at being selected. And then a biased sample is a sample that does not fairly represent the population. Okay, we'll talk more about random and biased samples as we get into our notes. Okay, so we're just going to go over a couple of kind of examples here. So a population, again, is the whole group that's being affected. Okay, here's an example. All 7th graders in the school district. Okay, there's a little dust there, let me get that. Okay, a sample is only part of the population. So an example there would be all the 7th graders in one school building. So instead of the whole district, it's the whole school. So if we're talking about our district, so all the 7th graders in Lincoln County School District, the sample would be all of the 7th graders at Taft. Okay, a random sample is a sample in which all members have an equal chance of being chosen. It's generally a fair representation of a population. Okay, the example here is having a computer select every 10th name from an alphabetical list of all 7th graders in the building. Okay, all 7th graders are equally likely. The computer is randomly going to go through and grab those different people. Okay, a biased sample. It's a sample that does not truly represent a population. It unfairly represents one group more than another. Okay, here's a biased sample example that rhymes. All of the 7th graders in the building that are enrolled in honors level classes. Okay, so that's generally going to be a lot smaller group. Okay, so those are kind of some examples of all of our vocab words and how they would work. All right, so what we're going to do is we have to determine if a sample is random or if a sample is biased. Okay, so here's our first example. Roberto wants to know the favorite sport of adults in his hometown. He surveys 50 adults at a baseball game. So would that be a biased sample or a random sample? Okay, we're going to think about that. Would many people that don't like baseball be at a baseball game? How would those people be represented? So what if you really, really, really like basketball, but you don't like baseball? You're probably not going to be at the baseball game. What if you really, really, really like soccer, but you don't like baseball? You're probably not going to be at the baseball game. So guys, this is going to be a biased sample. Okay? It's unlikely people that don't like baseball will be there. Okay, that doesn't mean that there might not be some people at the baseball game that like other sports better. It's just, it's too close to more than likely people that are at the baseball game probably like baseball more. So it's not a fair representation of what an entire group of adults in a hometown might like the best. Okay? All right, how about our next example? Paula wants to know the favorite type of music for students in her school. She puts the names of all students in a hat and draws randomly and surveys those students. Okay, we got to figure out, is this biased or is this random? So what we should think about is, does each student have an equal chance at being chosen for the music survey? Well, she takes the names of all students and she draws randomly out of a hat. So this is going to be a truly random sample. Because everyone has an equal chance. Okay, she included all students, and she's drawing randomly. Okay, all right. So what you guys have now, it's going to be a pretty short set of notes. Okay, I want you guys to try this out on your own. Okay, so identify if each sample is random or biased and explain your answer. You will notice this is, explain is highlighted. It's because I care more about your explanation than your answer. So if you just say random and don't explain, not good enough. If you just say biased and don't explain, not good enough. I would rather you guys get the wrong answer but have a good explanation than for you to get the right answer and not have any explanation. Okay, because your explanation is what lets me see what you're thinking, and that's what I need to see. Okay, so you've got the manager of a bookstore sends a survey to 150 customers who were randomly selected from a customer list. And then we've got a team of researchers surveys 200 people at a movie theater to find out how much money state residents spend on entertainment. Okay. If you guys have any questions from today's lesson, go ahead and put them in the Your Questions column. We can address those in class. And then down here at the bottom, explain how you can select a sample so that the information gained represents the entire population. Basically, guys, how can you select a sample so that you know that it's fair for everybody? Like, how can you get a truly random sample instead of a biased sample? How can you guys do that? Okay, so think about that. Write an answer down. We'll talk about it in class.